He's showing us the power of His Word. The Spirit of God is working. God the Creator is working. And now He speaks. And when He speaks, things begin to change and become orderly, okay? And He says, let there be light, and there was light. And so here's a way that we know that man did not write Genesis chapter 1. Or man didn't come up with it in his mind. Because there's light before there's the creation of the sun and the moon and the stars. Think about that. Nobody would make that up because where did the light come from? It comes from God. Okay, because He's light. In Him is light, and there's no darkness at all. Okay, so on day 1, and by the way, this is all happening on the first day. And then, like I said last week, He numbers the days. He gives them a boundary, and He describes, He says, the light He calls day, and the darkness He calls night, and the evening and morning were the first day. So that's day number 1. Basically, God creates the matter, space, time, continuum. All right. Then day 2, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, let divide the waters from the waters. So it's one big mass of water around the earth, and He divides the waters from waters under the heavens, and basically there's water on the earth and there's water above the earth. All right. So this firmament is something that all right, this is going to help y'all out when trying to understand the world before the flood. The firmament is not something we have now. This was the world before the flood. This watery canopy that circled the whole earth. It provided like a greenhouse effect on the earth. It was clear enough and thin enough to see the stars in the sky, and the sun and the moon. Yet it filtered out the harmful rays from the sun. Okay? And so what it would have done, it would have provided like a greenhouse effect on the earth. Now this would explain a lot of things. Okay? This would explain why the vegetation grew like it did. In other words, in abundance. The plant life was just incredible. I mean, and so it would also explain that why creatures live so long. Okay? Because even after man sins and the curse is placed on the earth, people continue to live for hundreds of years, and we don't see that nowadays. All right? So by the firmament filtering out the harmful effects from the sun, it would have slowed down the aging process, okay? Which also would explain why the animals live so long. All right, this just a couple of side notes there. But just understand that when the flood happens, the firmament bursts forth, okay? And all that water that was in the firmament comes to the earth, as well as water from beneath the surface of the earth also comes forth, and fountains of the great deep. We'll talk about the flood in the weeks to come. So, just kind of quickly going through that. That's day number 2. He divides the waters from the waters. And then on day 3, verse 9, he starts dividing the waters on the earth into seas. Okay? So he has dry land appear, and also the vegetation starts to appear on day 3. Okay? And remember, this is what's called a fiat creation, which means it's mature. Plants they already have fruit and seed and nuts and things like that. Flowers have flowers, all that kind of stuff. That's the way God created it, in maturity. It's ready to reproduce. So it's also ready for the animals that He's going to create to be able to consume those things. All right? That's day number 3. That's verses 9 and 10 and 11. So here's another thought for you. What grows without sunlight? Hardly anything. So here again, the plants are before the sun is created. There again, man if man is making something up and making up something in his mind about a story, logically speaking, he's not going to have the plants before the sun, because we know that the plants need sunlight to grow, right? I mean, how many of you know that around the edge of your yard, that every now and then you have to go and you have to trim the branches, because why? Where are they growing to? They're growing toward the sunlight, right? And you have to go back and trim them. They'll grow sideways to the sunlight to get that sunlight. Okay, so that's day number 3. And remember, in the initial creation, animals and plants are vegetarians. Now, this is for the young kids here. Listen up. When you see an animal with sharp teeth, what do you think about? Do you think he's a meat eater because he's got sharp teeth, right? But let me ask you a question. Does a black bear have sharp teeth? Yeah. Do you know what a black bear eats most of the time? Vegetation, plant material, fruit, garbage. So, or corn. And so the fact that an animal may have sharp teeth doesn't prove that it's a carnivore or strictly a meat eater. Even grizzly bears that have the sharp teeth and the claws are mostly vegetarian. I mean, they do have predatory behavior, we know that. But they also eat berries and nuts and fruit and leaves and all that kind of stuff too. Okay? So, when you see a movie or something with a dinosaur in it that has sharp teeth, just because it has sharp teeth doesn't mean that dinosaur was a meat eater. All right? Keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna get to that in just a second. All right. So, and then on day 4, that's when we have verse 15. Actually, verse 14. Let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, seasons, and for days, and for years.